Number 5.
Love that kick. Yeah. So now we're going to play a little bit of the Way of the Exploding Fist.
Welcome to another floppy deep dive. We are diving right into another video in the series of Tom's Top 5. I'm looking at the top 5 karate / kung fu games for the Commodore 64.
Do you want to go do karate in the garage? Yup!
So pull up a chair, grab a joystick, and let's get started. Number 5 is Way of the Exploding Fist that came out in June of 1985. I've got hundreds of floppies, but this game was one of my first. It was my 11th floppy, and my Commodore 64 continues to blow me away with these awesome games. It starts with that awesome karate yell that was actually ripped right out of a Bruce Lee movie. I was coming from the Atari 2600 and television systems world, so seeing such details and graphics was like having an arcade right here in my house. The backgrounds were amazing, the fighting moves were so fluid and smooth, and you get to fight right in front of your master as he, sits back there watching you as you work your way to become a karate expert. And I love the kick to the gut move and the jump kicks and the backward kick to the head, which was one of my personal favorites. And I remember battering my brothers in this game over and over in 1985. And I was the youngest, so being able to finally beat up on my brothers, this game made it possible. It made you feel like you actually knew how to do karate. Number 4. Now we continue with the next amazing karate game. Number 4 is International Karate, and this game's also known as the World Karate Championship, and it came out in 1986 here in the US. And this game sold over 1.5 million copies in the United States alone. And you would think with that many sold there'd be a lot of copies out there on eBay, but it's not the easiest game to find. If you want the original box, good luck. The goal is you want to become a master black belt. Data East, the maker of Karate Champ, which was a huge arcade hit here in the United States, was not pleased about this International Karate game, and they sued Epix over this game. In the end, Epix won because it wasn't identical, and the court said one game company cannot monopolize one entire sport. Yeah, right. Tell that to the Electronic Arts, right? So, the Way of the Exploding Fist is also very similar that we just watched the number 5 game to both of these games and also borrowed heavily from the Data East Karate Champ. But they also decided not to sue Epix because of this court ruling because they knew they also borrowed from it. And in this game, you get to see a lot of different backgrounds, hence international. So you've got 8 backdrops from around the world. You have Japan, Australia, USA, China, Brazil, England, Greece, and Egypt. And if you're good enough, you get to visit all those different locations. And this game was in heavy rotation of gameplay at my house. I loved it. Number 3. Number 3 on my list is one of my all-time favorite games and could easily be number 1 on my list today. But today it's number 3 because the top 2 are just so strong and so good. Now, Karateka was released in 1984, and every time I load up this game, I just can't stop playing it. I remember when I first loaded it up as a kid and was just blown away how the game looked like a movie to me, and I never saw anything like that before. I still believe they could make a really cool movie using these characters. I would watch it for sure. But you have your hero, which you play, and you have a really good villain, Akuma, and of course the princess, Mariko, who I always imagined looked like Lonnie Anderson for some reason. I think it was just her hair or something about her, about that sprite. And I don't know how you make a sprite look like a specific person, but that's just when my kid back in the 80s, that's what she looked like. And Jordan Mechner, who made this game, had all the pieces that he needed to make this masterpiece. And of course, you can't forget the bird. I hated the bird. And it was nice to have the little puzzles along the way that you had to do just right, and if you didn't, you'd get killed, which kind of added to the whole script or theme or movie feel of it. And this game was ported to a lot of different systems, and I did a video on it called The Many Faces of Karateka. And if you never watched that video, you need to go check it out. It's one of my favorite videos that I ever made, and it was just one of my favorite games. I thought it was so fun looking at all the different systems and how the game just looked a little bit different. Hence the reason I make a lot of the Many Faces videos. And I always like to find ways to come back and play this game, and doing a top 5 karate list let me come back and play this classic again. Number 2. Number 2 on this list is IK Plus, International Karate Plus. Now, continue the tradition of each year we got a new karate game. This one came out in 1987, and it did not disappoint. It was also called Chop and Drop in the United States. What a terrible name. I never called it that. I've always called it International Karate Plus. But Chop and Drop was the other one it has. And this game is number 1 on a lot of people's Commodore 64 games of all time. And I couldn't argue with that. This game is incredible. And what's even better than fighting one opponent? How about you got 2 opponents that you gotta fight against karate? Heck yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm in. And the music is amazing, like it is in a lot of these games. The fighting's incredible. The movements are so fluid. You get to use all your joystick, different angles to do all those different moves. This game was just extreme. And you have to try to be the first to score 6 points between all 3 of the people battling. And then don't forget about the bouncing balls in the Commodore version. After 2 rounds, there's a bonus game, and you've got these bouncing balls that come at you from both sides, and all you have is a shield. So you have to block all these balls while they continue to get faster and faster and faster, showing your endurance and your skill level. And I love that part of the game too. That was all part of the fun. And this goal is to get a black belt, just like all the other ones. And it's so challenging to try to get to that level. Wow. It is such an amazing game. It was just a blast to load it up and play it again. And all these games, it took me all of a Saturday just to play 5 games, because I would get so locked in playing them because they were so fun. And I just love going back to these games and having this category of the top 5. I definitely enjoyed having this one on there and being able to play it. So that's my number 2. Number 1. So the number 1 karate game of all time for me is Bruce Lee, released in 1984. I know some people would put IK Plus at number 1, but this game impacted me more than any other of those other karate games. The memories of playing Bruce Lee as a kid still bring back such great moments of joy. Working my way through all the 20 chambers and collecting the lanterns and avoiding the ninja and green Yamo. It was so much fun, and a testimony of a truly great game is that it's just as fun today as it was in 1984. And I believe all these games on my list today fall into that category. They're all still fun today. There's also a 2-player mode that allows you to play as Yamo, Green Yamo, and Bruce Lee together. If you haven't noticed in my videos, the large poster of this game that's on my wall in my game room, also used the character sprite images in my videos to make comments or to clarify what I'm saying or to make fun of me or something. And I also did a mini Faces of Bruce Lee video where I look at all the systems that the game was ever made for. If you haven't seen that video, you need to go check it out. But I simply love this game. In fact, I found a box copy of the original that will be coming in my mail just this week. Can't wait to get my hands on. I always wanted to have everything. I've always had the originals of the floppy disk in the manual, but I've never had the box. So now getting the box, I'm really excited to add that to my collection. And when I think of the Commodore 64, this is one of the first games that comes to my mind. It's one of my favorites, and yep, it's my number one.
So that's it, guys. That's my top 5 karate games for the Commodore 64. How did I do? Did you like my list? Did I leave something off? If I did, please put it down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think your top 5 and what order you would put the karate games in. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this video. And don't stop there. There's a lot more videos to check out on this channel. We've got the Many Faces series. We've got the What's on the Floppy, the Retro Deal and Dud, and many more. So go check those out too.
Well, we'll just have to do it again.